So we're going to chapter 25 in economics, employment and unemployment, causes and effects. So before going to unemployment, what is employment? Employment simply means certain individuals within an economy is engaged. That is what employment means. So I also wrote, employment implies that certain individuals are engaged. Employment can also be defined as a situation whereby those willing and able to work and are in the age category to work are able to get a job. That is employment. So employment means you have a job. That is employment. So the opposite of that is unemployment. So unemployment is a situation whereby certain individuals who are willing and able to work and are qualified to work within the age category to work are unable to get a job. That is what unemployment is. But according to International Labour Organization, unemployment occurs because certain individuals have seek for employment for almost 4 weeks without getting one, and they are making themselves available in the next 2 weeks to get a job. That makes them unemployed. That's according to ILO.
You already seen that in chapter 23.
Yeah, I'm just referring back to that. So that is ILO's unemployment. But unemployment simply means certain individuals do not have a job. Do you get it now? Okay. So that takes us to the causes of unemployment. So we're starting with frictional. They say unemployment causes occurs for a variety of reasons. A number of different types of or reasons for unemployment can be distinguished. So we're starting with frictional. Why do we call it frictional unemployment? We call it frictional unemployment because it's a short period of time, or we call it frictional or temporary. So there's a time between when you leave a job to seek for a new job. So the time between them, the time frame between you leaving a job to seek for a new job is called frictional or temporary unemployment. Do you understand temporary or frictional?
Mm-hmm.
So I wrote frictional. This is a short-term unemployment as it is the time frame between one leaving a job to seek for a new employment. That is frictional. Is it clear?
Mm-hmm.
So for frictional unemployment, it's still part of the supply side policy. Supply is a supply side factor. Is that clear? So we go to seasonal. Are you there? For seasonal, we call it seasonal unemployment because I wrote this occurs as a result of lower demand for labor in a certain period during the year. For example, seasonal unemployment may rise during the winter for those who are construction workers or workers in the tourist industry. So there's seasonal unemployment because certain individuals will not get engaged based on the fact that the demand for their job, demand for labor in that specific period of time is reduced. That is seasonal. You know, demand for labor is a derived demand. So if, for example, during winter, nobody wants to tour because it's cold. The weather is not favorable. So those that have jobs, those that are engaged with tourism or construction workers, they won't be able to get a job at that point in time. So they might not be engaged, and that brings about seasonal unemployment. Do you understand seasonal here? People not having a job at a specific period within a year. And for seasonal unemployment, there's nothing you could do about to eradicate it. In as much as you are part of that job, you are part of that industry, it will always occur. You can't stop it.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
So that takes us to the third one, structural. So for structural unemployment, I wrote, this occurs when the demand for labor is less than its supply in an individual labor market. So here we're talking about either regional unemployment or sectoral unemployment. So it's structural because it means certain markets, the demand for labor in certain markets is reducing, or like in the educational industry, or there are less schools in the country. So that means the demand for teachers would reduce. Yes or no? So as a result of that, the supply of teachers might exceed the demand for teachers. So that is a specific industry. So that is what structural unemployment is about. Do you get it? The supply of labor exceeds the demand for labor in a specific industry. So we have regional or sectoral. Regional simply means in a specific region. Oh, in Benghazi, there is no job in Benghazi. Why is there no job in Benghazi? Oh, there's a lot of job in Benghazi, but people in Tripoli are unable to go to Benghazi. So there's unemployment. There's regional unemployment because people lack the flexibility. Because there's immobility of workers. People cannot easily go to Benghazi to get a job. So now there's unemployment in Tripoli because they cannot move to Benghazi where there's a job. Do you understand regional here? So that is what we call regional unemployment. It is part of structural. Then we have sectoral, which is what I just talked about, the educational sector or the manufacturing sector or whichever sector that the supply of labor exceeds demand for labor is called structural unemployment or sectoral, which is a sub of sectoral unemployment. Is it clear?
Mm-hmm.
Any question about that? So that takes us to technological unemployment. Are you there? For technological unemployment, I wrote, this occurs where workers lack the flexibility to carry out specific jobs. As a result, they are being replaced by technology. Or with technology.
AI.
Yes, AI, yeah. With technology. AI cannot replace me anyway. It can only replace who it can replace. So the point is this. Most of the time, but mostly, when it comes to specialization, when people have specific jobs, they can easily be replaced with special machines. You get it? You're a specialist. Because you do a specific job, it means you can as well, they can as well make technology to do the same job as you do. Do you understand?
Like for example, welding.
Yes. You're a welder. Now there are machines that can weld. There are robots that can even weld. Do you understand? So your job is now, and because you can't easily have the flexibility to get yourself retrained or move to a new occupation. So there's lack of mobility, there's immobility of labor. Maybe there's occupational immobility. You cannot switch from one job to another for the fact that you don't have these necessary skills or the necessary qualification to switch. So that means you'll be unemployed. You are being replaced with technology and you don't have the flexibility to switch. Then there is unemployment in that situation. That is technological unemployment. Do you understand? And you said it already. AI replacing a lot of workers. Is it clear?
AI cannot replace heavy duty work, Mr. Like for example, going into mountains and all that.
Aside that, AI there's still the physical presence. AI will not replace education.
You need human sense in education.
Yeah, education needs, because sometimes when you put something in your ChatGPT, your GPT, it gives you an hint. But the teacher, before you say it, the teacher could give different explanation onto it, make real life events out of it. AI will not do that. It's only what you tell AI to do is going to bring out for you. So there's restriction on what it could do. But the teachers, because they have experienced real life events, they could give you scenarios about things. Do you get it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's about technological unemployment. So mostly there's technological unemployment because workers lack the flexibility to move, to switch, to get retrained. So there's immobility of labor, there's occupational immobility. So when there's immobility of labor and occupational immobility, then it will bring about unemployment through technological unemployment. Is it clear? Is it clear, please?
Yes.
So the next one is cyclical.
Or demand deficient.
Or demand deficient. For cyclical or demand deficient, both frictional, structural, technological are all supply side factor. The only demand side factor that we have here is cyclical. So for cyclical unemployment, it occurs, I wrote, these are the unemployment that occurs when there is lower aggregate demand within the economy, which makes it difficult for all workers to secure a job. So there's cyclical unemployment, cyclical. Demand within the economy is not increasing. And if demand is not increasing, there's no point for firms to employ more workers. So they won't be able to employ more workers. That is the point. So no revenue for work, no revenue for businesses. They have to lay off workers because they won't be able to meet up with their cost. So there's unemployment. That is cyclical. And those that are unemployed will not be able to get a job because there's no job available based on the fact that businesses are not able to expand. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. So note, cyclical unemployment is higher during the recession. So during the recession, which is an economic decline for 2 consecutive quarters, there's a recession. During recession, unemployment is high. And mostly it is always cyclical unemployment. Why? Because during recession, it is expected that income level would fall. So that means demand for goods and services would also fall. So a lot of workers will be laid off. Mm-hmm. That is why during recession we have high cyclical unemployment. But it's not only it is not only workers that will not it is not only labor that will not be fully utilized. Even capital, factories, offices will be empty. because workers are laid off. Equipment will not be fully used because output is reducing. So both capital and human resources will be underutilized during recession. Is it clear?
Mm-hmm.
Any question about that?
No.
So that takes us to the next one, which is real wage unemployment. Are you there? For real wage unemployment, this is a situation whereby wages are set above the equilibrium wages. Wages are set above the equilibrium level, resulting in an excess supply of labor. So if wage is set above the equilibrium level, equilibrium is where the demand for and supply of labor meets. So what I agree to accept from my employer is the equilibrium. So if wage rate is set above the equilibrium wage rate, the supply of labor, people will be willing to work more. So the supply of labor will be more than the demand. Yes or no? But what happens to employers? Do you think employers will be able to pay?
No.
No. So there's going to be unemployed workers as a result of that. So here I was. Okay, that is about real wage. What are the causes of real wage unemployment? The first one, minimum wages. We talked about minimum wages already. So let me read. Unemployed workers might be willing to work for a pay below the minimum wage, and employers may also be ready to give work out to those who can accept below the minimum wage. But the fact that it is illegal to pay workers below the minimum wage, then unemployed workers cannot get a job. So the point is this: there's unemployment, and because I am unemployed, I could as well take below the minimum wage. Yes or no?
But that's illegal.
But it is illegal. So it means I might take it right now and sue my employers later on when I get the job. Yes or no? So that makes my employer to be conscious. So they would not give a job. So it means unemployed people will not get a job because employers are not willing to pay above the minimum wage. That is about minimum wage. Do you get the point here? Normally, if unemployed people, there are some unemployed people that would be willing to take below the minimum wage, but employers will be scared to give them a job because it could become a litigation. Do you understand?
For example, when they can give minimum wage when a person is, for example, a illegal immigrant.
Yes, they'll be able to do that. But what about as soon as that illegal immigrant becomes legal with his own paperwork, he might as well sue the company. So there are formalities to these things. So the point is, employers are willing to pay you. They are willing to employ you if you want to accept a low wage because it's good for them. But they won't be able to employ you because it is illegal, it is unethical to employ you and pay you below the minimum wage. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
There are legislation for that, so it is not possible. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
So which means unemployed workers will not be able to get a job. So that's the first reason why there is what we call real wage unemployment. Then the second point is welfare payments. For welfare payments, we're talking about maybe unemployment benefits. Are you with me? So if the unemployment benefits I would receive from government is higher than some low paid jobs, then I won't be working as a result of that. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Because what's the point working when I know that government will even pay me more than what the job is going to offer me? So these are the two reasons why we have real wage unemployment. Unemployment benefit or welfare benefit higher than certain jobs or
Mm-hmm.
certain paid jobs
Mm-hmm.
or minimum wages. Is it clear?
Mm-hmm.
Any question about that?
No.
So that ends the causes of unemployment.